Oh boy, this car is extremely dirty. It needs to be cleaned like right away. Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. And what are we about to get into today? Now, I know I'm gonna have to make this video sooner or later, and I see like majority of speed owners go ahead and do this video, so I just feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and do this and get it over with, just so that those people watching and are interested in a Speed 3, I can give you some knowledge. But yes, in today's video, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a MAZDASPEED3 guide. What to look for when purchasing one of these bad boys, you know, where to go modification wise, so on and so forth. Now, I'm not gonna go ahead and go into extreme depth in this video because like I said, there is like thousands and hundreds of other speed owners that made this video and made even like more in-depth videos. So if anything, definitely go and watch those ones, but I'm still gonna give you guys a little rundown of what to look for and how to go about modifying this platform. Honestly, one thing I've noticed is that majority of speed owners, they haven't really did like an actual walk around when explaining the car. Sorry about the car being so dirty, by the way, it's crazy. A lot of people don't go ahead and show us the actual parts they're talking about. So in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and try and show what I can, so you guys can get some sort of visual look on what to at least look for with these cars. Now, for the inside, honestly, there's not really much to look for when in here. Obviously, just make sure if they did like something like this, make sure it's like wired correctly, or you know, stuff like that. Obviously, if it helps, bring a scan tool when seeing any Speed 3s, you know, because these boosted cars, like, they're very temperamental, all right, and they require some good care. So obviously, bring one of those OBD scanners if you or your friend has one, or bring it to a mechanic and have them just put it in. It should be like right up under, right in here, and turn the car on, and it should scan the car and then figure out, obviously, if there's any, you know, check engine light, if there's any like issues with the engine. So that's definitely the thing that you want to be aware of, is that, you know, the engine is good, because if not, then, you know, it can cost you thousands of dollars. So make sure it's really good, or at least in decent condition. Be sure to get a good quality one, or one that's close to stock as possible. I'm not saying that any modified ones are bad necessarily, but you just want to make sure that if they're modified correctly. As for the outside, just check the outside of the car, check for rust. Rust is very common on Mazdas. Now, the Speed 3 do not rust as much as the regular sedan 3s and the regular NA model 3s, so do keep that in mind, but there still does get rust. So be sure, obviously, to watch right here, because that's where rust grows like crazy. Obviously, right up underneath, you know, where the pinch welds are, make sure the pinch welds are good. I can't stress it enough, make sure under the car is not rusted out, because a lot of people do not check under the car, so be sure to do that. Make sure everything, you know, lines up to where it's supposed to. Check the tires, check if there's any dings, any dents. You just want to make sure that you find anything, because the more problems that you can find with somebody's car, obviously you can knock down a couple dollars off of. So definitely just take the time to look over the car and try not to just fall in love with it, because I know that happens to a lot of people. They fall in love with the car and they look and they forget to look for all these things. So definitely just take the time, look around the car, and make sure that, you know, if there's anything to take note of. We're gonna go ahead and pop the hood. These hoods are so heavy, by the way, so do keep that in mind. As for under the engine bay, just make sure that, you know, all the wires are good. There's no like corroded or wires or missing things like that. Another thing to check for is to make sure the coolant tank does not have any cracks or any leaks, because if you do have some sort of leak or crack, all the coolant's gonna come out, and then your engine's gonna get way hotter and then overheat, and then you're gonna risk blowing your engine. So make sure that the coolant reservoir tank is in good condition. Do keep in mind those tanks do crack often, so definitely it's something to keep an eye on. Another thing, make sure it has a stock air box. If it doesn't, and it's an aftermarket one that has like, you know, actual aftermarket intake, just make sure it's, you know, a good quality one, actually proper. Don't be afraid to ask a ton of questions to the seller, okay? Make sure that you get as much information out of this guy or girl as possible. You want to make sure that if any questions that you do have or any like uncertainty or anything like that gets answered. Now, do keep in mind, some of these sellers can lie to you and just tell you what you want to hear. So it's very, very important that you keep an eye out and keep an ear out for anything that they're saying. So if you ask them stuff like, was the high pressure fuel pump done? Was the car tuned? Or if it is tuned, ask like who tuned it or anything like that. If they say they don't know or they haven't tuned it, just cut it and run and get out of there. You don't want to be messing with anything like that. If they don't even know anything about like who tuned the car or who did what part on the car, that's a bit sketchy. So I would really back out of that. So congratulations, you got your Speed 3. It's registered in your name. You drove it back home. You're super excited, you're super pumped, and you can't wait to get into mods and just, you know, customizing this car. Before you do any of that, before you touch anything, be sure to do these reliable upgrades to your car first. Definitely get a Cobb access port and a high pressure fuel pump. That should be the very first two upgrades that you should do before you do any other like modifications or anything on the car. Make sure you have a Cobb access port and a high pressure fuel pump. High pressure fuel pump will give you more, of course, fuel, so that of course when you do bigger mods and stuff like that, it'll be able to handle it reliably. And as for the Cobb access port, you're gonna need that anyway when tuning your car. When you do like intake, downpipes and stuff like that, you're gonna need that to, you know, get the OTS tune, and then of course get your actual tuner to go ahead and send you the tunes, like a stage 1 or whatever stage it is, to go ahead and do that for your car so that it runs as it should and operates as it should. Because if you do all these mods without a tune, your car is gonna go haywire. Also, with a Cobb access port, you can manage all your logs, manage everything that's going on with the engine. It shows you the boost pressure, you know, the oil, you know, knock, all these things. So it comes in super handy and super clutch. So definitely get one of those things. That's the thing that I'm looking to get for my Speed 3 right now, is the access port, because I need one of those before doing anything. All right, so you went ahead and you did your Cobb access port and you did the high pressure fuel pump. Can I get to modding now? Well, you definitely can. But if there's another thing I'd recommend, is get a rear motor mount and of course the passenger mount. Just get like all the mounts for the car. Like I said, you don't really need to get all of them, but the passenger side motor mount is very known to cracking and breaking, so definitely make sure you get one just in case. And also get a rear motor mount, because that's going to help the car so much. Trust me, you'll thank me. And side note, if you do want to know where the rear motor mount is, it's literally just right up under here. If you go under here and look up there, you will see the rear motor mount right there. Once you change that, the car will feel a lot better, trust me. So you went ahead and did all those things now. So now you can actually get into the modifying process. Side note, make sure that the car's VVT timing chain has been done. If not, make sure that it's good. You'll be able to tell when you start the car with a cold start. You'll be able to hear a chain or a type of slashing happening, and then it goes ahead and starts. Definitely be sure to get that changed. It is expensive. It is about like a grand to maybe like 1,500. It is expensive, but trust me, once you do that, you're saving your engine and of course the engine life of your car. So definitely make sure that the VVT timing chain is done, or at least in good condition. Now obviously you want to go ahead with intake. You don't need a cold air intake. Just get yourself one of those little short ram intakes. Cobb has one, JBR sells one. You know, just pick and choose what you want. Quirk Sport, you can choose from any of them really. Just make sure that it is a good quality one. Also, if you don't want to buy brand new, you can go ahead and buy used off of like Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that if you're looking for a cheaper option. The intake will give you a lot more engine sound, and you'll hear more swoosh of the intake of the turbo, so it definitely increases engine noise. So definitely get one and it'll make you a lot happier. Other than the intake, is you definitely want an inlet pipe. It'll just help a lot better and help, you know, the flow a lot better than that plastic one that's in there. So you definitely want to get yourself an inland pipe with, of course, that intake, and engine noises will just be like, it'll just be so nice. Definitely get yourself one of those. After that, you want to go and get yourself a bypass valve, or you can get those dual port ones like Turbo Smart, which is a 50-50, which is half is vent to atmosphere and then half recirculates into back through the intake. Now these cars are built recirculated, so just keep that in mind. Stock, they are recirculated. A lot of other cars like Subarus are like that too, where the air goes back into the intake and stuff like that. So definitely get one that's rather recirculated or like a 50-50. And I know a lot of us want the blow off valve so we can hear that, you know, psst, after we allow the throttle. You can get that, but make sure that you are tuned for it. That's the biggest thing. Make sure you're tuned for it, because you're gonna run rich if you're not, and then, you know, bad things can happen yet again. So just make sure that you get the dual port. I feel like that's the best option. It gives you the best of both worlds and keeps your engine good. As for the blow off valve, just make sure you're tuned for that. That's all I'm saying. What's next? You can go ahead and get yourself an exhaust system. Obviously you want an exhaust system because it's gonna make your car sound a lot better as well. So definitely get an exhaust with a 3-inch, whatever it is. You can get one from HKS. Personally, that's the one I'm going with, HKS exhaust system. You can get the turbo bag from Cobb. You can get one from Cork Sport. You know, there's a lot of options out there, so I guess just choose whichever one you really like, I guess. Best thing to do is go on YouTube, search up an exhaust for MAZDASPEED3s, and just watch a bunch and see which one really catches your eye. Now, if you're looking for a more loud or even a more better flow of power throughout your car, I say go ahead and get yourself a downpipe. Now you got two choices. You got yourself a catless downpipe that has no catalytic converter, or you can get yourself a catted downpipe that has a high flow cat in it. Honestly, get whatever one you prefer. The catless is obviously going to be a lot louder, so do keep that in mind. It's going to be a lot louder for me personally, and I just find that unbearable, so I just go with like a catted downpipe, honestly. But if you do want that loud or better performance or better flow, I'd say go with the catless. Keep in mind the catted is going to be more pricier than the catless, actually, which is surprising. But yeah, do keep that in mind too. But that will definitely help your car a lot, especially with, you know, the flow of the overall. Upgrade that turbo. Now, of course, if you want to make more power, you're obviously going to get a bigger turbo. The bigger the turbo, the more power you make. But do keep in mind, the bigger you go with a turbo, that lag is going to increase. Now, for turbos that you can go with, I'll just name a few. You got the Cork Sport, I think it's the CTS4. You got the BNR S4 or S5 if you really want. Those ones really pack a punch for the Speed 3, so I definitely recommend BNR S4 because most Speed 3 guys go with that, and it's just because it's just an overall really good turbo. But the Cork Sport one is really good too. Now you have the choice. You can choose to collect all those parts that I mentioned and save them, and then once you have everything on, you go ahead and get it tuned. Or you can do it step by step, one by one. Do your intake, get a tune, get an intake, exhaust, downpipe, then a tune. You know, just make sure that you do tune the car. That's all I'm saying. And don't stay on the OTS tune. The OTS tune is not a real proper tune. It's just to, you know, make your car run until you get your actual pro tune. So definitely get your pro tune. Yes, it's pretty costly, but honestly, it's worth it, because obviously if you want your car running right, you're gonna pay it, right? You get what you pay for pretty much. So definitely be sure to get a pro tune. But like I said, guys, if you guys go ahead and follow these steps, I'm pretty sure if I missed anything, please be sure to drop it in the comments down below so that people reading could, you know, get some more info that I might have missed. Also, one other tip: when you're driving your Speed 3, do not, I repeat, do not go into boost down here. You do not want to be full throttle anywhere down here. When your car's stock, or you have a stock turbo, or if you want to get into boost, make sure you are above the 3,000 RPM mark. All right, once you're at 3,000 and above, that's when you can wide open throttle it and go into boost. But please wait until you are up here to full throttle it, because if you do that, the engines do not like that, and you will go ahead, bend a rod or do something dumb like that, and then you're going to be crying why this car is so unreliable and stuff. So make sure you take note of that. And if you have like a bigger turbo and you're tuned and stuff like that, obviously the RPM is gonna, you know, vary on. Anyway guys, that's pretty much everything that you need to know. Make sure that you get the best Speed 3 can possibly get, and of course make it last a long time. But yeah, if there's anything I can say, is definitely reliability over everything. Do all the safe things first, so your modding process is 1,000 times easier. That's everything that I can really think of with this. Another thing would be, obviously with this stock KO4, the turbo seals really tend to go out. So if you are checking out a car and you see white smoke out the back and stuff like that, it's like a lot of smoke and it's like puffy smoke, then your seals are most likely gone, and obviously you need a new turbo. So you can decide then if you want to upgrade turbo. But if you do want to do that, upgrade everything else, make sure the high pressure fuel pump and the access port are there. Informative or helpful in any way, please be sure to leave a comment down below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content. Good luck to your Speed 3 buying process, and now you know what to look for, so definitely keep that in mind. But anyway guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace out, stay humble, stay blessed, peace.